Hello and welcome to another cooking extraordinaire with me. It's Nico's dad. And today I'll be mostly doing a meat pie. Yorkshire style, wellish. Well, it's probably my style, but yeah. So first things first, let's get ourselves ready for the cook. Right, so first things first. Right, so you want to get your onions. And here we've got something that's going to make my life so much easier. We're going to place them on there. I know that they're going to cut, but they won't, so I shall make them a little bit smaller. And then we will place them in there and give it a crunch. Right, next one. Oh yeah, done. Got some weight behind that. Let's go. Put some weight behind that. Second part of onion, that in. Done. Next part. Make sure there's no skin. You don't want skin on it. Done. That's my onions. Diced. Ready. Get as much of it out as you can, because we don't want to waste any. Our onion ready. Now this is, I'm only making a small one because I'm only a small guy, and if you believe that, you believe anything. So I'm just making one with what ingredients I've got. Easy, innit? Right, so what I'm going to do first, we're going to get a little bit of oil. I think we will use a bit of extra virgin olive oil. Right, so we're going to get some of that. We're going to get a bit of the heat on. A little bit of oil. Done. Get the oil in there, nicely warming up. And that's straight into our onion and get that in. Perfect. Done. In there. Put it ready in my sink for a wash a little later. Get yourself some cook with and stir. Use this. Just want to nicely get your onions, get them nicely browning. And to be honest, I'll put a little bit of garlic in there. Right, Dad, garlic. I know you hate that, but there you are. It's nice, honestly. So I just put the granules in to go nicely with the viol that we've got in there. Start to mix that up. I'll be doing this in two parts because obviously I want to get this all mixed together and get the meat and the gravy and everything, the stock, all that done, and then we'll move on and I'll get my pastry made, get it rolled out, and then we'll have part two, because there's two parts and there's three parts because I'll be eating it. But anyways, get your onions nicely browning. A lot of flavours in that. Onions, I've got my garlic, I've got my oil in there. I won't put them in yet. I'll bang some of this in. If you don't know what this is, it's arabat. It's not fat, it's arabat. Just a little bit in there. I'll put that on top with my sea salt later. Get them nicely browning. And then normally I would do mince with this, but for today I got some diced beef. but it's beef and it's diced. Right, so I'm going to put that in there, making sure that they're all broken down so it starts to mix with the onion. Put that down, put that in there. All empty, put on tidy. Only deer. Right, so all that's nicely going in. Got my heat, we've got my onions. Oh, it smells gorgeous. I like to put a bit more garlic on my beef. Like so. And then before I'm putting anything else in, I like to put my thyme in. So thyme just goes very nicely with the beef. Oh, it smells gorgeous already. So yeah, got some thyme in there, got my garlic. Make sure it's all nicely starting to brown and mix with the flavours. Like I say, normally I do this with beef, but sometimes I just like to have diced beef instead of minced. Just different texture. That's about pretty much all it is. All diced in there, nicely browning. Do you think I've done this before? Probably haven't. If my ma was still here, I fucking wouldn't, because she'd be cooking. But they're all nicely over there in Spain, enjoying nice weather. Well, we're stuck in England. Although we are patriotic, us English, we are patriotic. So yeah, got me beef nicely cooking in there, if you can see it there, beef with my onions and my garlic. Get that nicely browning in there. Now, as it's starting to mix with all flavours, what I like is a bit of Henderson's relish. You can't beat Henderson's relish. It is nice. Worcester sauce, but Yorkshire. It's a Yorkshire way of doing it. I think it's Sheffield it's based. So get a nice amount in there. I mean, a lot of people don't think it's a bit too strong for them, so they will, rather than that, only put like a tablespoon on, but I don't. I also put a bit of tomato puree in mine. It gives it a bit of zest. So I shall just bang a bit of that in there, just to give it a little twang. Now you're going to laugh at me on this, but you think, right, I'm going to put some stock in this gravy, so obviously it's beef, so you use beef. But no, because it's me, not that I'm difficult about, I tend to not. I like to put in a bit of chicken, because I love the salt, I think it's the salt I do. So I love these chicken stock pots. If I can ever get in bloody thing. Medford Kings, you should never swear. Bloody things, I can't, Jesus Christ, who the hell makes these so you can't get in right? Right, so, yeah, here we are. Stab myself with a knife. Get that open, get that in. wiping down as soon as you can. You're getting all of your liquids in there now, but obviously you've got to be careful with this because you don't want it to be too runny, as it even when you blind bake the pastry, it'll become soggy if you don't do it properly. So get that in there, get it all nicely mixed up. Don't worry about the mix too much at the moment. Get that in there because I'm tidy. Right, so you get that in there, and then obviously everyone will have their head off. But I put gravy in it, but I put chicken because I love chicken. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that that's as tasty as possible. So I've got that in there, and I'm going to mix it all in with my garlic and my onion, my tomato puree, my Henderson's relish, some people put a lot of pepper in there as well at this point. Soya sauce, but I hardly ever use soya sauce on mine. So that's nicely going in. Obviously, because you have all the juices, you don't want to lose them juices because they're tasty. So what you want to do is put a bit of corn flour in. So what I will do is I will thicken this by placing 1 and 2. Try that. Get that nicely mixed in because you're trying to make this as thick as possible. I've got it tasty because we've got the gravy granules, we've got everything else that's been in there for quite a while now. At the end of the day, you've only got to put your spoon in and taste a bit to see if it's tasty enough. But I'm telling you, it's tasty. So yeah, all my beef's in there. Start to reduce the heat a little bit. As you can see, it's nice and thick. So corn flour's worked a treat. All the tastes are in there. I'm just gonna. Oh, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Right, that is cooked. So that's all of my beef. And everything tasting perfect, how I like it anyway. So all of that in there, you don't want to waste any of this. You want as much taste as possible. So yeah, all that done. So I'm gonna get all of this washed and get ready for part 2 when I've got the pastries ready and I make the cake. But what I'll do is I'll blind bake it, which is basically getting my short crust pastry, which is simple, make that all together, and then I shall flatten it out, roll it, now that I've got a rolling pin, thanks Tracy, and then I'll blind bake it, so it's ready for me to put my mixture in bottom, and then my top off on top. Very simple anyway. So yeah, meet me in part 2, seamless editing. Hello again, in part 2 of Here's My Steak Pie. Right, so got my shortcut pastry made, all sorted down there. I've already lined my tin with parchment paper and then put my pastry around. So next bit, next little job I'm going to just make, well actually, no, I was going to cut it off, but what I'm going to do, because I love pastry, is this, I'm just going to fiddle about and get it all to like the level that I want at the top of the tin. If there's too much, obviously That's where you chop it off. That's perfect for that. Just manipulate that down. Get it over edge of tin, like so. So that your lid's got something to go onto, although it's not incredibly important because it's going to be over filling, so it don't really matter what anyway. So all of my short crust all cut down, a bit down here, done. Get that all over the lid. Now, what I like to do, what I know to do, is to blind bake the pastry. So, a lot of people use stones or rice or beans, uncooked beans. What I like to do, and what I find easier, is to just get 2 tins, get 1 tin, place it in the bottom, get the other tin, squeeze it down, and bang that in your cooker. Right, 15 to 20 minutes. So that's starting to cook. Get all my pastries, get it all together again, a bit more flour, your flour, your butter, your eggs, roll down, get that squeezed down, get it rolled out, because this is going to form your lid. So make sure that you get the length pretty much quickly, because you don't want to come out as a square. You want it to be a rectangle, because you've got a rectangle dish. So yeah, keeping that together. So I'm trying to get it as rectangle as possible. But also make sure that it's not sticking. So yeah, get that down. That's squashed out. Like so. Dish here, can't exactly tell perfectly, but you can give it so it's roughly the right size. Done. Done. And then yeah, that's pretty much ready. 15 to 20 minutes on gas mat to 200, and then your pastry's done. So yeah, get that done, and I shall see you in part 3. So you meet me in part 3 of this steak pie bonanza. And I like to start this by a mention to my friend. He doesn't want me to name him anymore, Scott. Sorry, right? So, because you know sometimes he gets really upset at being mentioned all the time. I'd like to say a great sorry, an apology to Scott. Really feel for you. Right? It's all right, Scott. So yeah, you've now done your base, blind baked it here, and now what we're going to do is we're going to fill it. We've let this chill enough, just give it a bit of a stir, but it's solid enough that it's not going to absolutely run out of the pie. but it's thick enough to make a good filling. So get that banged into your pie. Like so. All of it out because it is absolutely going to taste gorgeous. Right, get that as filled round as possible. Like so. Right. Done. Raise that down. Like so. Perfect. That's me pie. Then we want to get. Now a lot of people say, "Oh, you want to do this with a brush?" Well, yeah, a brush, but you can never clean it properly, so there's no point in using a brush. So what I tend to do is just to give it a bit on the sides with my finger, because that's where I'm going to be putting my pastries. Get that round there, where you've blind baked it. So yeah, all of that down like that. Bring it over here. And basically shove your pastry over the top. Now, that's perfect. Like I say, you've done it big enough so it can just about touch the sides. Now what I tend to do is, if I've got a big dish, then I'll be making this a lot deeper. But when I've got like this kind of a dish and I'm not wanting loads and loads of pastry, I just put it round like so and double it back. Just making sure that it's pretty much all over it. Nothing too fancy. Put it over. It's nicely encapsulating everything. Right, get that all over there, get that all over there, perfect. Just nicely manipulate it so it's all in the existing pastry. Squeeze it down like so. Nicely manipulated into all the corners. And then, yeah, just manipulate last minute with fork, get it nicely squashed down. Yep. Right. Right, there's your pie. Now, get used to your egg. Just give it a light drizzle around the outsides. Do it with your finger because you've been manipulating everything with your fingers that you've washed and they're all clean anyway, so what's the point of getting a brush involved? Oh, flipping. Am I an artist? But I am when it comes to cooking. So I'll get that all around there. Make sure it's got a nice covering, and then on the inside as well. Just a light drizzle. Make sure you've covered everything to give it a nice golden brown. Perfect. Perfect. But end it there, it's going to go its same hole. So it's got. So yeah, get it all covered. There you have it. A few puncture holes in the middle. And there you have it. You've got a pie. Just finish it off, making sure that it's pretty much compressed onto the original base that you've blind cooked or baked, whichever you prefer to use as the term. Not that it matters, because it all did the same thing. Oh yeah, all that's nice, ready, done. So there's my pie going in cooker, and there you have it, a steak pie. Let that cook for about half an hour, and then you're done. So all that's left to do now is to say thanks for tuning in to Don't Mess With Chef. Me, by the way. And yeah, I shall be taking a photo of me finished pie, and I'll enjoy it and speak to you later on the next instalment of Yeah, You're Cooking with a Yorkshireman, and I don't care what you think. Cheers.